Hey everyone, Tony Stark here. Now, what you may not know is when I'm not busy inventing things or protecting the world as Iron Man, I like to play video games and watch anime and do other nerdy things like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. So, I'll do a couple videos like this where I discuss the nerdy things that I get around to doing when I'm not being an Avenger and saving everyone. So, today, I'm going to try something a little different. We're going to react to seeing some movie trailers. So first, I start off by watching the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer. I used to play the Sonic the Hedgehog games when I was younger on the Sega Genesis. That's how old I am. So let's take a look, shall we?
Gotta go fast.
I have some thoughts. I think everybody and their grandmother has already discussed the horrendous design of Sonic the Hedgehog. So let's go with something different. They've already said that they are going to fix the design of Sonic, which good on them. They should. But why not change some other things? Because there's some other problems with this that I see. One, the Rocky and Bullwinkle shenanigans. You know what I'm talking about. You have animated character coming into the real world and interacting with real people and having a plot where a live action, very cartoonish villain played by a very notable actor. What do you got there? Yeah, well, I'd rather you be dressed when you do that. Thank you.
Okay.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. So, rather than having, first off, before I get into that, there are some things that I did like about this trailer. One, the use of the classic video game sound effects, like collecting the rings and the sound of when Sonic speeds up, when he turns into the ball and rolls really fast. I thought that was really good. Gave me some very nostalgic feelings to my childhood, staying up late playing the Sega Genesis. A couple other things I noticed. There's this brief moment when the rockets are all coming at Sonic and he seems to have slowed down time and he's standing there looking at his wrist and tapping his foot. That is straight out of the games. What are you doing? Why? If you're gonna do stuff, put it on a shirt or something. It's something straight out of the video games, particularly if you leave the controller lying idle. He eventually does that. He's like, I'm waiting. I don't particularly care for the voice of Sonic in this. I am very partial to Jaleel White's voice from the first couple of cartoons, The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and what we all call as Sonic Sat AM. He did the voice in both of those cartoons, and I like him as the voice of Sonic. I always have. It's part of my childhood. It's part of everyone's childhood. Because the voice didn't really seem right. I know they've changed the voice several times over the years, and he's had a different voice, but like Sonic is kind of, you know, cool, but not like cool. You know, he's cool. Why is that? And anyway, he really needs to say "I'm waiting" at some point. has to. He has to. Jim Carrey as Robotnik looks alright. I like Robotnik being a fat guy. Maybe he gets fat over time. We have seen, there's this brief clip at the very end, he looks a bit more like the classic Robotnik, bald with the big bushy mustache, and then he's got these red goggles on. I thought that was a nice touch. I just think he should have been like that the entire time. Although it does seem like he's going to go crazier as the film goes on, as he's chasing Sonic, which makes sense. I mean, that's kind of a decent character arc to follow Robotnik on. He's this brilliant scientist guy inventing all these robots and war machines and stuff, and then he just can't catch this blue hedgehog, and he just goes crazier and crazier. Another thing I noticed they used is the warp rings, which Sonic 3 they came in on, where you jump into the warp zones and do the thing. And I like that, but why is Sonic in our world? Do you know where your Sonic is? No. And just saying, you could find him and put him up in the video. So, is there a reason he needs to come to our world? He says your world, so he's from a different world. I guess he used some kind of warp ring or something. Now, Sonic has gone between dimensions before in some of the comics, and I don't know about the games, maybe, but he so I have some thoughts on what to do with Sonic rather than the Rocky and Bullwinkle shenanigans. One, have a world where humans and anthropomorphic animals exist together, just like Detective Pikachu has with the Pokemon. Like, there's this world, I guess it's our world, but they establish that it's a world where the two exist. And I think really Sonic as a franchise could get away with that because they have always had that. Sonic has always had humans and anthropomorphic animals together. Now in the cartoons and in many of the comics, especially, does Archie Comics still do the Sonic comics? They did when I was younger and I read them a lot. The comics followed mainly some of the elements from the cartoons, particularly Sonic Sat AM. And I think you could just turn that into the movie. Like, not necessarily the post-apocalyptic Robotnik has already taken over kind of deal, but maybe kind of lead towards where that's an inevitability or something, because in the cartoons, I don't think Sonic ever really beats Robotnik. Maybe he does towards the very end. I don't recall. Definitely in the comics, as far as I could tell, he didn't, because it was an ongoing thing. It's just we happen to live in this world. Now, some of the other games, Robotnik hasn't taken over the world, and it's a different continuity. What is that? Is that your... Oh, okay, that's that stuff.
Using it for background snow.
It's snowing. So I think something along those lines, showing that people and the animals, multiple animals, not just Sonic, exist together in one world. You can even have semi-futuristic, Blade Runner-esque buildings and stuff. Things like that. It would be really great to have some of the characters from the games appear. You know, not just Sonic, but Tails and Knuckles and all of the other characters that were in the games. Even some of the characters not from the games, but in the cartoons, like Sally and Bunny Rabbit and Antoine. Everybody loves Antoine, right? He's so annoying. And plot-wise, just have some big, like maybe Robotnik has the big egg Death Star thing that's coming in, and he's gonna, like, maybe not destroy the world, but like he's trying to take over the world, but he's got the giant thing, and Sonic has to stop him. It's just different things that you could do besides just bringing Sonic into our normal world and having shenanigans, which is exactly what's going to happen. This movie's going to have shenanigans. Sonic might look better by the end of this, but it's not going to fix how the plot's appearing to be going. It's just, at least the way the trailer looks, Sonic is not the only problem here. And I hope they can pull this one out, because Sonic was one of my first games. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 specifically. Back in the early 90s, I had the Sega Genesis. I got the Sega Genesis and Sonic 2 and the Aladdin video game for Christmas one year, and that was my jam for like ever. It was the only one I ever owned. I did play Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I loved playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles. That was a good game. I actually liked the 3D Blast that had the isometric view. You were playing Sonic. It wasn't really 3D, but it was kind of 3D. But I never got past, I never owned a Sega system past the Genesis, so I didn't really play any of the other ones. I did play the Sonic Adventure games on the Dreamcast. My friend had a Dreamcast and he had the games, and I played them on that. And I thought that was a pretty cool reinvention of it. But again, in those games, was Sonic in our real world? Because he's going down the hills in San Francisco, right? During that snowboard, like, where he's going down the hills. I don't know. It's Sonic. It's weird. You gotta go fast. Gotta go fast. Now, I could probably come up with a more detailed thing, but this is just my impressions and just off the top of my head things they could have done better with this. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes. I might revisit like an actual plot outline of my own ideas. Just remember, be on the listen and be on the lookout for a random ninja attack. That's all for today, and just remember, I am Iron Man. Is that trademarked? Can I not say that? I don't know. It's getting dark. I need to stop. I'm an old taku. Old taku.